Good evening, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Action Power. Today, I'm talking to Onai and Thabiso. The two ladies are some of our biggest fans. We want to talk about the inclusion of women with disabilities in social services and women's rights movement. Can you please introduce yourselves to our viewers?
Thank you. My name is Makhurane. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently studying honors in social work at the University of Zimbabwe, doing my second year. I'm a very passionate young woman about issues affecting women, especially women with disabilities. I'm also passionate about issues affecting minorities in general. Yes, thank you.
And my name is Hara. I'm also at the University of Zimbabwe. I'm a second-year student studying social work. And I'm also, as a young person, I also believe in an inclusive society in terms of emancipation, the rights of women. So I'm a passionate also lady in terms when it comes to women's issues.
You are one of our biggest fans of Action Power. What is it that you love about the show?
Okay, thank you very much. What we love mostly about Action Power is that it's a program which is by the deaf, for the deaf, and with the deaf. So Action Power is a practical program which is very inclusive and which is very informative because it practically shows us what deaf people are doing out there. It shows us the capacity of deaf people out there. And also what I like mostly is the statement that is said almost every time, that deaf people can do everything that hearing people can do except hear. So I think it's a practical program which needs to be given much credit in that regard.
Please tell me more about your interest in issues affecting women in Zimbabwe.
Personally, for me, my interest in issues affecting women in Zimbabwe could do with issues of equity. That I'm more interested in women given the same ground as men, women given the same opportunities that are accorded to the men in terms of participation in politics, in terms of participation in economic activities, participating even in social activities. That let us create a ground where women can participate in issues that they're interested in. They can take up in political positions, for example. Let us remove all those barriers that are hindering women to participate in those issues. And let us create an environment where everyone is given an opportunity to realize their goals, to realize their talents, to realize their interests.
And as for myself, I could say my interest is into the including women in terms of when it comes to the women's movement, being inclusive. I mean, maybe basically I'm talking about maybe celebrating our diversity as women, celebrating that as women we come from different socio-economic statuses. As women we have different classes. As women we have women who have disabilities, we have women who are elite, we have women from the rural areas. That diversity, to me, it interests me especially.
What are some of the challenges facing women with disabilities in Zimbabwe?
I think the major challenges that we're facing women with disabilities in Zimbabwe are issues of double discrimination. They face challenges because they are women, and they face challenges because they are women with disabilities. So, combining those two, that the fact that they are women and the fact that they have disabilities, it kind of puts them in a very disadvantaged position, whereby now they are facing discrimination from two fronts. That is those of being women and those of being women with disabilities. Also, I think issues of maybe rape, issues of domestic violence, also issues of discrimination by society, because most people do not know really that women with disabilities can also perform the same way that able-bodied women can do. So I think that the issue could also be in terms of discrimination. They are mostly discriminated against because they are women with disabilities.
And also, I'd like to say maybe some of the challenges, they are maybe economic deprivation. Here we are talking about employability, how people with disabilities, women especially, are employed. Because we see that maybe they are being discriminated, like she said. It evolves around discrimination. That now it's maybe manifests in employment. Are they being employed? But they are now not being employed on the basis that they are people with disabilities. I think that's a very major challenge to them. And also maybe I would like to talk about maybe the notion of heroism. Here basically I'm looking at people with disabilities, especially women, when they do something not even extraordinary, when they achieve, when they succeed, the way people celebrate it is like a surprise. Wow, she has done it. As if they never thought that these people can actually do the same thing that able-bodied people can do. So I think that really affects them, because people are not celebrating because they did something, but they're celebrating because they thought they cannot do it. In their perceptions, they cannot do it. This also, it goes also when I'm looking at maybe churches, when I'm looking at maybe religion in general. We see that maybe women with disabilities, when maybe they try to participate, maybe there's that incapacitation by maybe our leaders or maybe by other members of the churches, because they do not really understand the issues relating to disability, issues relating to what women with disabilities specifically face. So I think that's a very major challenge, because maybe religion plays a major role in people's lives. And if leaders are not educated as to what really is disability, that poses a very big challenge to them.
Now we take a break. Welcome back, viewers.
Now we are still language lesson.
Inclusion. Social.
Now we take a break.
Thank you for language lesson.
Welcome back, viewers. What do you think needs to be done to ensure that women with disabilities are included in social and health programs?
I think, first of all, there should be maybe conscientization of society, that people should be conscientized in terms of what does disability mean. What are the capabilities of people with disabilities? What are their challenges? Because in society, they just assume, but they do not really know what the challenges that they are facing, the capabilities that they have. So I think there should be increase in public awareness in terms of programs that showcase the disability movement, that showcase issues to do with disability, so that society becomes aware that people with disabilities are also people. They need to be included in our programs. They need to be included in national programs that are taking place.
And also maybe I would look at the training of professionals. We see that maybe we have the health sector, we have maybe the social sector, but then are there professionals who are trained in sign language? Are there professionals who are trained in maybe in Braille? Do we have information which is maybe translated into sign language when it comes to health issues? Do we have information? How do blind women access information in terms of sexual and reproductive health? How do they access information in terms of general health? When they visit practitioners, do they get adequate services? If no, why? What are the reasons behind? Do they have people who are trained to maybe I can say maybe network with them? How are the social systems? Take for example, maybe in terms of social life, how involved are they? Are they in terms of sports? How involved are they in terms of recreation and many other social facilities? How maybe maybe social amenities, are they even maybe conducive for them? So I think maybe all those, they have to be looked into. And also I have to hammer maybe on the training of professionals. Professionals need to be trained when it comes to women living with disabilities.
Women with disabilities are often left out of the women's movement. What do you think is the reason for this?
The reason for this could be that women's movements usually see women with disabilities as maybe slow in terms of implementation of their programs. So they would see these women as maybe slowing down their movement, and so that's the reason why they're not including them. So they've got stereotypes really that they want their movement, their cause, women's cause to move forward. But in that same moving forward, they end up neglecting women that are actually in need of those programs, of those workshops that are taking place. Also, I think the issue could also be in terms of these programs, the way that they are conducted, they automatically disqualify women with disabilities. Maybe in terms of physical structures, women with physical challenges who are in wheelchair cannot access those physical structures. Even the way that the messages or the workshops are conducted, there is no inclusion of sign language, there is no inclusion of Braille. So automatically, those structures just make women with disabilities not to be included in these programs.
And also I'd like to say, maybe when we look at how is the information disseminated, when it comes to programs meant for women, who is invited? This brings the question, who then is the women's movement? When we say the women's movement, who are we talking about? Because if we are leaving one woman behind, I'm looking at a woman who is in the rural areas, who is a woman in the rural areas, and who is a woman with disabilities. Are we reaching out to those people? So I think maybe the issue is those women are not invited. And why are they not invited? Because maybe we do not sometimes reach out to them. Like she said, maybe we tend to have a bias in terms of not the affluent as such, but then maybe the urbaneers who have access to internet, the urbaneers who are maybe educated. I think that's a very major challenge. And also as women, as the women's movement, do we really take the time to learn even sign language, even the basics? When we have a forum, we have a meeting for women, we have a discussion forum for women. Do we even take maybe 10 to 30 minutes to learn the basic, to learn what disability is, to learn maybe sign language, for example? Because when we have maybe a deaf woman in our meetings, obviously she would not feel part of us because we cannot communicate with them. Because always maybe where she is, there is no interpreter. Because she does not always have to have an interpreter even in social interactions. If we cannot speak their language, then how do we intend to interact with them? So I think that's a very major point for me, that as women, if we do not learn their language, then how can we include them in what we do?
How can we ensure that women with disabilities are not left out of social and economic programs in the country?
The government and the private sector at large has got a very important, crucial role to play in ensuring that women participate in economic issues and social issues. That women participate in economic issues and maybe national issues that are taking place. I think maybe they should be, in terms of maybe compulsory, make it compulsory that every program or every activity in the nation or being conducted by maybe the private sector, the NGOs, or even the public sector should include people with disabilities, especially women. Because if we do not make it an enforcement, it will continue this way. It will continue that women with disabilities are being left out. It will continue that women, able-bodied women, especially maybe women in the urban areas, are the ones that are benefiting from these programs. But if we make it a point that let us be inclusive of women with disabilities, even women that are in rural areas, geographical location should not be a hindrance to people, to women benefiting from these national programs. I think even issues of national policies like Zim Asset, it can also be used as a way to further the economic advantage of women with disabilities. These programs should be enacted in such a way that women with disabilities also have access to them, also have access to whatever it is that the Zim Asset is delivering to Zimbabwe. Women with disabilities, so the government has a mandate to make sure that every organization, whatever sector, should be inclusive of women with disabilities. And women with disabilities, whether they're in the urban, rural areas, they should be included in those programs and forums.
And also to add on what she has said, I think maybe participation of these women is of paramount importance. Because even if maybe we formulate policies, but if they are not the people who are formulating the policies, if they are not the people who are running the programs, then the programs won't be a success. So I think we have to hammer on them participating in formulating the policies that address the issues, the challenges that they face, because they are the ones who know best the challenges that they face, who know best how to solve those problems. So if we give them the opportunity to we create an environment whereby they can maybe participate fully in maybe in formulation of policies and all, then I think we'll be coming to somewhere into an inclusive society altogether.
Do you have anything to say to women with disabilities and women's organizations in the country?
Maybe to just give maybe an inspiration to women with disabilities, I would just say that they shouldn't see their disability as an inability. They are capable in their own rights and in their own way, and they can do the things that able-bodied women can also do. They should believe in themselves, believe in whatever it is that they aspire to be in life, and they should, be patient with themselves. Believe in themselves and to further their dreams and their goals. And to women's movements, that is women that work with women's agencies that work with women, I would advise them that they should be inclusive. They should change their perceptions in terms of seeing women with disabilities as people that are incapable of doing the same things that they themselves can do. So if they shift their mindset, they can be able to be accommodative of them. And also maybe there should be the issue of integrating both the women's movements and the women with disabilities. Let us get to know each other, because at the end of the day, we are all women. Able-bodied women should get to know the challenges or the way of life and the culture of women with disabilities. Women with disabilities should get to know also about women, able-bodied women, because the one feature that brings us all together is that we are women. So let us not be diverse, but let us just celebrate our uniqueness, because we are all unique and different in our own ways. So I think that women's movement should be accommodative. They should make it a point that they include women with disabilities in whatever programs, in whatever activities or workshops that they conduct.
Well, I would like to say maybe to women with disabilities, I strongly believe in them. I strongly believe that they have the capacity. They have proven it to me. I've seen it with my own eyes that they have the capacity. So I want to say to them, the struggle continues, women. To all the ladies out there, young women who are deaf, who are living with disabilities, the struggle continues. And I'm hoping for a society which is inclusive. And because I believe, I was saying, I believe in their capacity. And to organizations which are dealing with women with disabilities, I would like to say, as women, let us put our differences aside. Let us celebrate our diversity. Let us celebrate each other. Let us be inclusive. Let us tap into each other's lives. Tap into what other people are doing. As women who are able-bodied, let us tap into what women with disabilities are doing. As women with disabilities, let us tap into women who are able-bodied. Let us tap into each other, because like she said, we are all women at the end of the day. And I think maybe if we start having conflicts and saying women with who are able-bodied, they are discriminating us, women with disabilities, they do not want to participate, I think those are just maybe preconceived ideas, prejudices, stereotypes. If we tap into each other, we will see how beautiful we all are. We will see the purpose that we all have. We will see the capacity that we all have. So I think we still have a long way to go, and I hope that women's organization, the women's movement, we will do something in terms of including women with disabilities.
Thank you very much, ladies, for being with us on Action Power today. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, viewers, for being with us today. As we have seen, the young women who are willing to work for the inclusion of women with disabilities. Thank you for watching. See you again next week.